Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. A scary situation happened here yesterday, Thursday, April 11th, in Winter Springs, Florida. A woman who was driving from South Florida was carjacked, and another driver behind her vehicle and the carjacking vehicle caught it on video. Unfortunately, it looks like this woman is deceased, as we're going to hear in the presser from the sheriff's office. But first, I'm going to play the video that the other driver got of the actual carjacking. It is scary. I can't imagine how scared for her life this woman was, and obviously her life was in danger. In my opinion, you should never let someone in your vehicle. You should keep your car doors locked, and if someone's ramming your car, call 911. Get the hell away from them. Do any and every single thing that you can to get away from this stalker. And she stopped at a stoplight, as you can see in this video, and I realized that going through the stoplight, whether she wanted to take a turn or a U-turn, was illegal. But hell, I would have done any and everything to get away from this other vehicle. Because now that you're stopped, and as you'll see, one of the suspects approaches her vehicle at this stoplight. That is scary as heck. He tried to get in the front seat, and it looks like he got in the back seat. He was pointing a gun at the driver. Again, this is a scary situation. And obviously whoever's in that green vehicle, they're an accomplice.
Thank you for your patience, and thank you for getting as much information out as you possibly could last night. What we are now investigating is a homicide, and what I would like to do is to talk you through the entire timeline, the circumstances, and the details. As you can see on the screen, Catherine Aguas Vivas was a U.S. citizen. She had lived in the United States for the past 5 years. She had established U.S. citizenship. Her home country was the Dominican Republic. She and her husband were associated. Husband is still associated with 2 businesses in South Florida. Her residency is in Homestead, and the businesses are a barbershop and a beauty salon. She left South Florida yesterday, driving the white Dodge Durango that we put out with the video that we had yesterday. We think that she left South Florida just after noon. We know at around 2 o'clock, the vehicle was seen traveling northbound in Jupiter, and she came into Seminole County through downtown Orlando in I-4. 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon is when she is arriving here. She stops at a Seminole County gas station. It was a Shell gas station located just south of 436 and 1792. She pulls in there, pumps gas, stays there for approximately 8 minutes. She travels from that location heading northbound on 1792 into Seminole County, and then ultimately gets into Castleberry and turns down Button Road and weaves through the back streets on East Lake through Winter Springs. About a half a mile before the intersection of East Lake Drive and Tuscaloosa Road, and that's the location of the intersection that the video was released on. About a half a mile or so prior to that intersection, She started to notice that the green Acura was behind her, and the Acura was actually ramming into her back bumper at that time. At that time, she picked up the phone and called her husband, told her husband that she was being rammed, that there was somebody there that was following her. The husband provided the advice to don't stop anywhere. There are no known reports to the sheriff's office or policing authorities made by either Catherine or the husband that we're aware of. Vehicle stops at the intersection. As you can see from the video that we released last night, the Dodge Durango is at the first position at the intersection, has the light. The only thing that's stopping her is the light that's there. The green Acura is directly behind, and although we don't have visual evidence so far proving, we suspect that one of the occupants of the green Acura gets out of the Acura wearing a black hoodie, wearing a ski type of mask or a ninja mask, as we've called it, carrying what appears to be consistent with a automatic handgun, consistent with a 10mm handgun, which will come into play a little bit later in my news conference. Points directly at the driver, Catherine, tells her, we suspect, to unlock the door, which she does. He jumps in the rear passenger seat behind the driver, and she immediately makes a U-turn. This is witnessed by the driver that's behind the vehicle. Another occupant inside the vehicle is the person that is filming from their cell phone the video images that we have and that we've released of the incident. She makes a U-turn at that intersection, probably heading, speculation here, but probably heading in a direction where the suspect does not want them to go. And we suspect that he orders her to turn around again and reapproach the intersection of East Lake and Tuscola Road. At that intersection, they turn south, and they're heading southbound, nearly rush hour traffic here, southbound on Tuscola Road towards the Seminole Orange County line, all the way down to Aloma. When they get to Aloma, they make a left. They go all the way across all lanes of traffic so they can get on 417 southbound. At this time, we suspect that Catherine is still driving under the armed dictatorship of the suspect. Here's where you're going to go. Here's where you're going to drive. They drive southbound on 417, likely getting off at the Narcoossee Road exit. They travel the back roads of Narcoossee, ultimately turning off onto Boggy Creek Road into Osceola County, where there is a newer construction area that was set off in a little bit of a distance, but not so far away that eyewitnesses could not report hearing gunshots and ultimately the smoke of a fire that was set ablaze, the vehicle that was set ablaze. By the time authorities with the Osceola County Sheriff's Office arrived there was so much damage to the vehicle, you could not positively identify the vehicle, but they also discovered that one person was deceased and found in that vehicle. Now, it's an important part here because we believe that to be the vehicle and the decedent to be Catherine, but we have to positively confirm that through the scientific method of DNA examinations and dental records. But from all accounts of looking at the scene, it looks like the vehicle and is consistent to everything that we've seen so far. In addition to that, there was 12 shell casings there of 10mm rounds and one projectile that was located on the ground at that location. Circumstances leading up. Follow-up investigation. The initial report that was provided to us was Catherine was traveling to Central Florida to visit with family members. We know of no family members that are living in Central Florida. The time that she was in Seminole County was less than an hour, and we have no knowledge of her or the suspect, quite frankly, living, doing business, or being in Seminole County prior to this incident. The timeline between approximately 5:30 in the afternoon yesterday, when we got the call for service of what appeared to be a carjacking, robbery, kidnapping, we responded to the scene as we typically do, as an urgent type of response just moments later, and have been working the investigation ever since that point in time. It's about 1 hour and 45 minutes from the video that was released at that intersection of East Lake Drive and Tuscaloosa Road. An hour and 45 minutes later is when the call for service of the vehicle on fire and the gunshots in Osceola County. Anybody who is familiar with the area, during rush hour, it is probably nearly an hour driving time between this location and that location. We suspect it was a direct route between here, going down Tuscaloosa Road, getting on ultimately 417, heading southbound, and going right to that location to commit this murder and homicide. We do feel that the occupants of the green Acura, both the driver and at least one other person that got out of the car and entered into the Durango, knew exactly who they were following. We are, again, still putting together to try to explain a motive. There's no criminal history here for either Catherine or her husband in the United States. There's no clear indicator why somebody would do this, why would they target them. But we do feel and believe, because she was being followed, they were watching that. She called her husband. The husband said, "Don't leave the car." No reports to law enforcement that this was not a random act of violence, that the perpetrators knew exactly who they were going after, why they were going after them, is something that is a part of our ongoing, continuing investigation at this time. We've spoken to her husband, family members, and that process will continue on. The green Acura is obviously a vehicle that we're incredibly concerned about right now. We've released that last night, and we're releasing it again today. So if anybody saw the Durango or the green Acura yesterday afternoon, witnessed any of this, that now in the aftermath is kind of putting some pieces together on something that you witnessed, we want to encourage you to contact the Seminole County Sheriff's Office or Crime Line, where you can be eligible for a financial reward and can remain anonymous. We're specifically looking for any bit of information that you saw during this entire encounter, or if you recognize this vehicle that had a partial obstruction to the tag. We don't think the obstruction to the tag was intentional. There was some plastic covering that was on the license plate. The plastic covering just had become wore out, and it was difficult to capture the tag identifiers in the video. Again, any information about this particular tag is going to be incredibly important to our ongoing investigation. The next steps are to continue to work this with our detectives and our investigators. We are working with the Osceola County Sheriff's Office and other stakeholders in this process to put the pieces together. We do believe that that vehicle and Catherine are the homicide victim in that location down in Osceola County. And as soon as we get some more information, we'll be happy to share that with you. With that, I'll open for questions, but before I do, please continue to understand. I'll answer whatever I can, but this is a fluid, ongoing investigation that's 19 hours from start to finish right now. And again, with that, I'll open.
Sheriff, do you know the vehicle, the green vehicle, had it been following her the whole time, do we know, or at just one point they found her in Seminole County? Was there an air tag on her vehicle? Do we know anything about that?
No knowledge of air tag or any tracking device, but we simply don't know at this time. We don't know where the green Acura picked up her vehicle. We do believe it's probably somewhere in the Central Florida area, but there are pieces of evidence that still need to be evaluated to see if we can identify where the green Acura started to trail. We do know that in Castleberry, coming down East Lake, They were there already a half a mile prior to that intersection. He was already ramming the back of the car. So with certainty, we can only say at that point. We just don't know where they started following or when she actually noticed at the time. She did notice and call her husband, but that was just moments before the intersection and what we witnessed on the video.
Sheriff, do any of your counterparts in South Florida help you open any light to this, whether or not they were having any kind of a hassle or harassment or dispute down there that might have spilled over up here?
Our team is on the way down to South Florida now. At this point in time, there is no explanation why somebody would target her, why she would be followed like that. Of course, that's a part of the ongoing investigation that not only our detectives are going down there personally to meet with family and friends, but working with counterparts. But again, there is no prior reports, no knowledge of criminal history or activity. It just really is unknown at this time.
You said you didn't know if she had any, you can't document she had any family here. Did her husband know that she was traveling to Central Florida yet?
Well, he was the one that provided the information that it was likely that she was coming up here to visit family. But again, he is somebody that we continue to talk with that is helpful to us in our investigation. Any information that he has, but the report that we had received through those intimate contacts of her that she was here to visit family.
It sounds like the husband knew more than what he was letting on because he told her not to stop. Is that your opinion as well?
I'm not going to speculate. Anytime something like this happens, we always encourage 911 is like an absolute. You want authorities, you want somebody there. But I can't explain why this would occur a half a mile before the intersection, that she would call her husband. Her husband would say, "Don't stop." I could see somebody saying, "Don't stop," but to not call 911 is something that again, I don't know the answer to that. Sure. If it was me, I'm going to call 911, or I'm going to encourage my family and friends to call 911. That did not happen in this case.
Sheriff, the vehicle that she's driving isn't in fact her or her family's vehicle, and the reason I asked that, the phone number that's listed on the back of that car does not go to either her or her husband, and I'm just trying to understand the connection between the phone number that says that vehicle is for sale, which is a South Florida number, and if you have any details on that.
Yeah, I don't know who the registered owner of the vehicle is. We do believe it to be somebody that is in her family or connected to her. We don't feel that she's in some strange vehicle that she's never seen driving before. We think that the vehicle is connected to, and it may not be registered to her, but connected to a vehicle that she typically drives.
This is a whole series of very unsettling things here. If it wasn't for this guy and his passenger who rolled the video, you wouldn't even know that she's missing, right?
So I mean, the people who are following behind this, witnessing this, are absolute heroes with providing critical information of a very dangerous and frightening situation. You think about it for a moment. It wasn't that long ago where we did not have cameras on our cell phones, and we always promote, if you see something, say something. That's exactly what happened here. Not only happened here to record this incident, which gives us a great glimpse of what happened moments before this murder occurred, but also the people down in Osceola County that hear these gunshots, see the smoke from a vehicle. I mean, they call pretty quickly. You think about 2 citizen reports in an hour and 45 minutes in 2 different counties, 3 counties away from each other. So when you watch this, it is incredibly frightening to watch the boldness of this suspect, this perpetrator, getting out of the car, wearing a hood, carrying a weapon in broad daylight, getting in the vehicle. It again, that is why we encourage somebody who knows about the occupants of this vehicle, knows where this vehicle is at. We're encouraging you to contact us. Clearly, they should be viewed as being armed and dangerous. Don't confront them yourself. Contact authorities.
Sounds like the perpetrators were familiar with the Osceola County area to tell her to go there.
I suspect that where they told her to go is somewhere where they've been before. They seemed very familiar with that area down there. I don't think that this is randomly, hey, pull off the road. I think that now again, we don't know, but I think that as soon as she made that U-turn, She was told quickly, hey, go back, this isn't the way we want to go. And they had that plan out and knew exactly where they were going. It was on the way.
She was in Seminole County to see family, but you couldn't find any family. Is there was she just driving around the county for an hour? They
Well,
kept saying that she was here.
yeah.
Is there a destination?
Well, let me be real specific. We were told she was here visiting family. We were not able to confirm that she has any family member here at all. So we were told that she was here visiting family. We have no knowledge of her ever being in Seminole County whatsoever. We knew that she left South Florida around noon. It's very unlikely that she was coming here to stay. 1, 2 o'clock, she's coming northbound. Like 2 o'clock, she's in Jupiter. She comes I-4 route, seen in downtown Orlando, ultimately gets off. So where she was going, we absolutely have no idea where she was going.
I know there's a lot of things here that are unclear, but so what I want to make sure that I understand properly. Her husband says she was coming here to see family, yet provided no names of those family members that you can document.
Correct. Husband says she's going to Central Florida to visit family, did not provide names of the family members. In our research, through investigative tools, can find no family members that are here. So we don't know who he was referring to when he says family. It could be friends that they call family, but we don't know of any biological family that's here in Central Florida that she was on her way to. Quite frankly, we don't know why she was here or how long she was planning to stay here.
The license plate was obscured because of the plastic or whatever. Did any of the toll plazas or license plate readers throughout the counties, did they pick up what the license plate was? Has that led it to any clues?
That's part of the investigation that I am not going to release right now. We want to call upon the public's assistance that if you know the operator of the vehicle, as you can imagine, Jeff, we're following up on that right now. Our team is kind of looking at that, gathering as much information. I don't want to be dishonest, and I don't want to disclose investigative techniques and exactly where we are. So that's something that we're working with.
But fundamentally, this green car and whoever was in it can be anyone.
Correct. And that's why we're calling on the public's assistance right now as we work the investigative end with technology and police work. We hope, once again, citizens who've witnessed bizarre and suspicious behavior will step up like they have with the reporting of the initial incident and reporting of the murder scene, which we believe to be the murder scene down in Osceola County. We're working the case because we don't know. Somewhere between here and there, she was alive and likely deceased down there at their location. I want to underscore once again, I want to give you the most timely information as we possibly can. We need DNA and dental records to confirm that that's her. We need physical evidence to say that that's absolutely 100% the vehicle. But I would have to be pretty confident right now to come out and tell you this, that this is likely the vehicle and this is likely who it is. Once we get some additional details, again, there's a lot of unknowns, a lot of things that will leave people scratching your head, and I think the biggest is why. Because this wasn't just a random incident. They're ramming the car half a mile before that intersection. They get in the car. Why did she and her husband not call 911? I don't know. Why did she stop at the red light? I mean, there's a lot of things that we'll absolutely never know. But this is a tragic incident nevertheless. I mean, a horrible, horrible, frightening situation. If you know the whereabouts of the vehicle or know who the drivers or the occupants were, please call us.
This is a scary situation, and I think there's more to this than meets the eye. I think that the sheriff's office is handling this very well from what I can tell from this presser, and they want the public's help to find this green vehicle, this green Acura. And I'm going to put all that information here in the video. And especially if you are like me, you live in Central Florida, if you're in Orange, Osceola, Seminole County, this vehicle's been all around this whole entire area. We need to keep on the lookout. And if you happen to have seen this car, please call the sheriff's office. We need to find them and and figure out what happened. Sad to see that she's probably deceased, but again, there was something about them. They must have known her, and I'm sure that we're going to hear more as the investigation continues. But I'm going to posting the photo here that the sheriff's office put up of the green vehicle, as well as how to contact the sheriff's office here. Please, if you do have any information or tips, please call them in to the Seminole County Sheriff's Office. And if you happen to spot this car, if you're out, call 911. I have no idea also why the heck this woman didn't immediately call 911 when she was being rammed and followed by this car. It's like, I don't understand why people call a spouse or someone before they would call 911. This seems to be happening more and more these days. And my first inclination would be to call 911. I'd be like, hey, someone's ramming my car and I'm being followed. Because that's not okay. And this guy obviously came out with a gun, carjacked her, and it looks like he murdered her. So again, let's hope that these two suspects are found soon before they hurt anyone else. And with that said, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. And most of all, stay safe.